Hello. Our question for today is, am I already a U.S. citizen even though I was born outside the U.S.? I'm Erick Widman. I'm an immigration lawyer, and the U.S. has, from the very beginning, maintained the practice of birthright citizenship. So if you were born in the U.S., you are automatically a U.S. citizen. Some countries have taken that away, but we've held on to it. However, in some cases, you may be a U.S. citizen, although you were born outside the U.S. And the law in this area has been rather complex, changing every so often. But the latest version of the law, which we'll get into very soon, has some pretty clear criteria. And we're gonna look at that. When could you already be a U.S. citizen even though you were not born here? So the starting point for looking at the rules is determining your birth date and applying that to the rules in the law. So the starting point for this determination is your birth date, and then we get to look at the chart and the rules and see how that all plays out. So that's the key issue. The law has changed quite a bit, but your birth date, of course, does not change. So a key date to keep in mind for you is February 27th, 2001. And so that's when Congress enacted the Child Citizenship Act, CCA. And so if you were born after that date, or you were under 18 years old at that point, then the CCA does apply to you. And the CCA streamlines the prior rules and lays out some pretty clear-cut criteria. And here they are. If you were born after February 27th, 2001, or you were 17 or younger on that date, and you were born outside the US, here's what we have to show. And once you meet all of these conditions, you will have automatically acquired citizenship, almost like magic. Here's those criteria. You have at least one parent who's a U.S. citizen through birth or naturalization. So your parent could have been born in another country and then naturalized. That's okay. Similarly, it's fine if you have an adoptive parent. That counts for having a U.S. citizen parent. You, the child, to qualify under the CCA, and I bet your parents are looking at this, but we're referring to you have to be under 18 years old. And you have to have a green card. So if you, through your family member, adjusted status, or arrived on an immigrant visa, you have a green card, and you have a U.S. citizen parent, you're under 18, and now that you, final criteria, live in the U.S. in the legal and physical custody of your U.S. citizen parent, those are the magic criteria. Those 4 key criteria are met. Once that happens, boom, immediately you are a U.S. citizen. You've acquired U.S. citizenship. USCIS, however, is not going to immediately send you a certificate of citizenship. That would be nice. So even though the law says that you're now a citizen, it's upon you to take the steps to go and apply for that. And so what you'll typically want to do is file N600, Form N600, Certificate of Citizenship, and get formal proof from the government where USCIS acknowledges that, yes, you are, in fact, a U.S. citizen. You've acquired that citizenship. And many of those criteria are fairly easy to meet, especially if you're under 18, if you are one of those individuals who is clearly within the physical and legal custody of your parent. But if you're older and still might qualify for the CCA, that's where it can get a little trickier, because USCIS, they're sticklers for documentation. And sometimes it can be tricky, depending on your parent, how thorough the records are. It can be difficult to show that I was living with my parent. Sometimes it's just not obvious. So once those criteria are met, you file the N600 form with the appropriate evidence. you will be able to get a certificate of citizenship in the mail and then apply for a US passport. And that's the most recent version of this law. So for those who are older and don't qualify for the CCA, the law gets even more complex. And there are detailed charts that you have to consult. We have a book called Kurzbans, immigration lawyers do, that has a bunch of pages that we flip through for clients to determine exactly if you qualify or not. Were you born in or out of wedlock? Were you legitimated? There are a number of factors that you have to look at to help you determine if you immediately acquire or derive citizenship. But if you are younger and qualify under the CCA, that's a more streamlined approach. We'll end it right there. Thanks for tuning in and take care.